Hello everybody, welcome to a sun-kissed Canal Basin. It's Andrew Turner and myself. Almost there, nearly the end of the season, one game to go.
Is there still one left?
Oh no, it's frightening, isn't it? Still, it's only just up the road, so it's not a huge haul. Saturday, in so many ways, the story of the season, yeah?
Yeah, it's a shame actually because they played some quite nice football.
Yeah.
But again, the pitch, and we're not knocking the groundsman because John Ledwidge, he does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But obviously he's fighting an uphill battle, isn't he, in terms of trying to get the pitch right. So, you know, there's no blame or anything on him or his staff. They're doing the best job they can. But no, I mean, it was just so bobbly, wasn't it? You know, they couldn't pass the ball because it just sort of bobbled up and... You know, it was difficult, but you know, there was some good football played and created a few chances, stuff like that. It just looks, you know, they're lacking something up front, aren't they? They're lacking a dominant figure. I mean, young Danny Philliska came in and he did really well. He was lively and bright and lively, and you know, thought he'd scored. You know, well, we all thought he'd scored. Somehow the lad nipped in and blocked. But you know, they are missing Leon Clark, aren't they? Somebody of that sort of ilk, you know, to really dominate and bully centre backs.
Well, it's the thing. I mean, in any level of football, you know, unless you're Barcelona, you do need a spearhead, don't you? An out-and-out sort of big, strong striker. Which doesn't mean you're just lumping the ball in, but you need that physical presence. Whereas Philliska, you know, he's got two big defenders up him. Now, obviously, I suppose the contentious point is you say, well, can you play a 4-5-1 in that situation? Don't you need two up front? But I mean, actually, when the system works, as it has, you know, under Thorny, under Mark Robbins, under Chris Coleman, even, you know, the fact is, if you've got your five, and there are people like Baker, you can get people in, you know, to shoot. I mean, you know, Baker had 2 or 3 attempts, Flecky had a couple of attempts. So
well, Luis is the other one as well. He's got a central role, and he sort of linked up really well with Phillips Kirk. And sort of he bombs on and gets in the box as well. But a lot of fans are unhappy with the fact that City have been playing with just one striker at home, in particular. You know, away from home it's not such an issue. But you know, it's but they've been doing that all season, haven't they? Pretty much.
And the same works. I mean, it's one of those things you shouldn't get high by. You know, if the five stay there and you've got the one up there, it's different. But at any given time, you should have, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikers up front, so it should work. But I mean, fact is, football, which as we know is a funny old game. I mean, Leyton Orient, who could conceivably have gone into the last week of the season, they were poor. They were really bad. I mean, they were negative. They had nothing. They pinched a spinny old goal, you know, where it was, don't get me wrong, they broke quite well, crossed it across, the bloke hit it. And I think, again, it was one of those cliche things where if he'd had really smacked it, Murphy would have probably turned it round, but it sort of bobbled underneath him. And then they spent the entire second half just holding on for grim death, and they get 3 points. So, I'll tell you what, I'm really looking for. I mean, we don't know about the pitch, do we? I mean, you're putting 2 and 2 together, perhaps making 6. So you wonder if this is another sort of aspect of the fight between, you know, the club and the ground, whether perhaps the groundsman doesn't have enough time to get on the pitch, perhaps, I don't know, he's having to buy his grass at Wicks instead of, you know, sort of some high class emporium. So perhaps, you know, it hasn't been given that sort of care and attention and lavish onto it. But you're looking forward to this time, you know, start of the season, lovely lush green surface, you know, the likes of Baker and Musa zipping it around, should be good. Yeah.
And I mean, the interesting thing will be, you know, to see who goes and who stays in the summer. I mean, there's sort of several people that are still under contract that perhaps the manager might be making decisions and sort of say, well, look, you're not part of my plans. But you know, in terms of players that sort of fit into that sort of category, and the likes of David Bell, who hasn't played a lot of football, but he looked really good, didn't he? And Presley couldn't fail to be impressed with him. You know, and you like to think that, you know, if he can stay fit. I mean, he showed, particularly in the second half when Flecky started picking him out with a few diagonal balls. I mean, he does look a cut above, doesn't he, at this level? He really does, and he could make a real difference.
And then you got him on the left, beating people for fun. You got Baker on the right, beating people for fun. You got Big Leon in the middle, knocking him in. I'm looking forward to it already.
Before we go, do you want to spare a word or two about old Louis?
Well, it's interesting
Mr. Suarez?
because I've got a baby son whose name is Louis. It's spelled slightly differently. And there's a sort of behaviour that I might expect from him. But, you know, being impeccably brought up, my lad, I confidently predict will not be a biter. But Mr. Suarez, I mean, it's an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. I mean, just it beggars belief. I was sat there watching Match of the Day last night, and you just think, what is the bloke on? What is he thinking?
Well, you do have to feel. I mean, there's something. I mean, there's always been nasty players with, you know, sort of hair trigger who get involved. But, you know, the risk of delving into, you know, psychological. I mean, there's something wrong with him, isn't he? I mean,
well, he's got form, hasn't he? He did it.
Yeah, but I mean,
he was
it's such a. No, I'm not being funny. I mean, he's got big old choppers, a bit of a Mr. Ed there. Decent damage, wasn't it? Bloody hell! I mean, look, when it was me, you had no trouble. Half of them were missing, and the ones that left are too strong. But that big. Whoa.
Well, I wonder what the referee must have thought, because he obviously didn't see it.
No.
But Ivanovic went over to him and told him, and he went like that, didn't he? And you think, what was he thinking? You know, did he think he was lying?
Well, I suppose
because he didn't see it. I suppose he couldn't do anything about
it. I mean, it's a big test of Liverpool, but, you know, because as we never stop hearing from Liverpool, you know, they like to present themselves as being, you know, something a cut above, you know, sort of having really high moral standards and being a sort of, you know, not just your run-of-the-mill club. Well, you know, I'm guessing because he's the far and away their best player, and on the open market he's probably worth 30, 40, 50 million, whatever. You know, they'll sort of ban him for 6, 7, 8 games and try and get around it that way. But I mean, if the club had any sort of real self-respect, they'd definitely him out, wouldn't they?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, he's an absolute embarrassment. He's an embarrassment to himself, to his football club, and to Liverpool fans. You know, they must be thinking this morning, waking up this morning, and thinking, you know, it's just so embarrassing, you know, just to be associated with him. It's dreadful.
Yeah.